Laura says, Matt, how long should you wait for a guy that you're in a relationship with to contact you? And if you're the only one who's making all the effort, what should I do? Well, it depends on what kind of a relationship you're in. So a lot of women come to me and they think that they're in a committed relationship and they're not, right? And so if you're in a friend with benefits hookup kind of situationship, that's one thing. And if you're in anything other than a committed relationship, that means that you should, he should be pursuing you. He should be pursuing you for the kind of relationship that he wants, and if he or that you want. And if he's not doing that, then you should be weeding him out. That's the situation that you want to be in. You want to be in a situation where he's trying to convince and prove to you that he's the right guy for you, and not in a situation where you're trying to convince and prove that you're the right woman for him. And so if he's not doing anything, what you need to do, if I'm going to assume that you're not in a committed relationship right now, I'm just going to assume that. I'd say that's probably a good reasonable assumption for your situation here, Laura. And so what you should do is you should communicate with him. That's number one, is that you should communicate with him, reach out to him, let him, start dialogue with him again, and let him know that you've got some things going on in your life and that you're going to be really busy here in the near future. And what you want to start doing, if you're the one doing all the work, if you totally cut things off, right, what will usually happen is the guy will be like, she was doing all the work and now she's not. Like, what just happened? And so it can be better to go like a gradual, like doing less and less and less and less type of thing. And so you want to communicate with him what's going on with you, that you're going to be busy, that you've got other things going on, that you just enrolled yourself in a wonderful underwater basket weaving class, right? Or whatever hobbies or interests or whatever you're doing in your free time, and that you're going to be pretty busy, but that you will have some free time, and that he should reach out and let you know when he wants to meet up and hang out, and then you guys can match your schedules together. And what's going to happen is you're going to slowly stop reaching out more, and he's either going to pick up the ball and start running with it, Laura, or he's not. And if he does, that's great. And if he's not, that means that he's weeding himself out, right? Because what happens a lot of times is women will take the ball, especially with the whole like kind of new wave feminism thing that's going on out there, where women are like, this masculine person in the world, and I've got this great job, and which is really great. If you want to do all that kind of stuff, that's awesome. However, when you do that in a relationship, you take the ball and you run with it, and you're like, I'm going to do this relationship like I do work. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make him happen. He's going to get married to me and committed to me, and I'm going to plan everything and do all this stuff. And what ends up happening is when guys experience a woman doing that, even if they're not that interested in you, they will lean back, right? They will let you start doing all this stuff, even though they're not all that interested. Why? Because he's getting all of his needs met from you, and he doesn't have to do anything. And so what you want to do is stop putting yourself into that situation, because you're going to miss all these red flags. You might not even be in a relationship, right? If you're doing all the work and you're doing everything and everything's happening and you're planning everything and you're initiating contact and you're setting up the dates and you're going out and stuff, you might think that you're in a relationship and he might not, right? So what you want to make sure that you're doing is pulling back on that, and you don't want to go over 50% of the effort, the communication, the initiation, the investment. Because if you do, what's going to happen is you'll end up getting attached to him, and you'll feel like you're doing everything, and he'll start taking you for granted. And he might be interested. He might want to do things with you. He might not. And you have to figure out, one, what kind of a relationship you actually want. Two, you have to find out whether he's actually all that interested in you. And there's nothing that shows interest more than investment. And 3, you need to communicate that you have other things going on, and that you want him to start reaching out and start investing and start doing things, even if it's on this gradual slope where he starts communicating, he starts planning things, and start raising the bar, right? Raising the standards for the relationship and what he's doing and what his active role is. And then start giving him more and more time to do this and do this and do this, right? And if you're not in a committed relationship, and here's how you know whether you're in a committed relationship or not, Laura. Have you talked about it? If you haven't talked about it, you can just assume that you are not in a committed relationship. If he has not said things like, I want you, you're enough for me, you're all I want, I don't want to see anybody else other than you. If he hasn't said those kinds of things to you, if he hasn't talked about you guys being in a relationship, you guys aren't in a relationship. That's the fact, right? That is the fact of the matter. And so you need to let him step up and initiate and start doing all the things